Taking the working file My Timeline 4, which has our multiple timelines within it, we're going to have a look at how we can customize our timelines to be more aesthetically pleasing, perhaps. Firstly, we have three timelines, but I'm just going to remove the top one. So we click on the timeline we don't want anymore, right click, and there is an option there to remove the timeline. That will give me two quite big timelines that I can now customize to some degree. And what you will find is that any element of your timeline can be customized. So if I want to change, remove old units, the way it looks, the actual box, etc., I just simply click on it, and then I have control using this font section here. I can turn the boldness off, put italics on, turn underlining on. All of that I'm in control of. I can change the background color. So it may be that I want to make it sort of purpley so it stands out differently. I can change the font color. Obviously, I would need to in this case so that I can read what's on the actual box. What I'm doing to that particular task, its customization, is just changing its appearance while it's displayed in that particular timeline. It doesn't affect it in this timeline. It doesn't affect it down here in the Gantt chart. It's just a local customization. The same here for this particular task. Pull up old carpets. I could change its background color to something different, and maybe even change its font color as well. Take off the bold, maybe change the font size. This is my typeface, the GUI UI, and it defaults to 8, which is quite a small font, just so everything gets displayed properly on the timeline. But it may be that I wish to increase the size, for example, of my call out. I may wish to push that up to 20. Maybe that'd be a little bit too big. 16. If I wanted to change multiple items, then I can control click. See, I can pick up more than one task or more than one object at a time. And then if I control click back on it, removes it from the selection. Now I have three items selected. It may be that I just want to go italics just to demonstrate that we can, and turn the boldness off. So you can multiple select items just by click, control click, control click. I may wish to change the background color of the whole timeline. So I click on the timeline itself, choose background, and let's go for, say, a light gray. And you can see that that's affected both these timelines in that case. If you want to affect everything on the timeline, then you can use the text styles option. So we're going to text styles. You see here we have an option item to change all, or you can just choose timescale, summary label, summary date, pan and zoom date, task name, task date, milestone name, milestone date, call out task name, call out task date, today's label. But obviously with our particular project, we're not seeing today. So if I wanted to just change all of the call out names, then I could go for a different typeface, Gaudi All Street BT, size 10, in italics rather than bold, and in a dark green. And the changes I've made will affect all of the call out task names. If I say OK, you can see all of the call out task names then get affected. What happened with this one though is the size hasn't changed because I changed the size locally to that particular call out. So it still managed to change the color and the italicness, but not the actual font size because I changed that myself manually, and it retains that manual change. Whereas anything I don't change manually, text styles can be used to control any of those particular objects or all of them. So it may be that I want to customize the typeface so that we have some kind of consistency. So we'll have Garamond 10, OK, and then all the font used is then Garamond. It's 10 where I haven't overwritten it locally. So again, this heading stays at 16. So if I put that back to 10 Garamond, it might then get picked up by the control of all. So you're totally in control. Where you have tasks that happen at the same time, so we have two here, you can drag one sort of lower than the other. You can see the other one's then jumped up, check the pack contents. Now, as well as the ability to drag tasks up and down within the same timeline, you can actually use the drag option to move them between timelines. So if I want to see plaster walls on this timeline, I can simply drag it up to there and let go. You can't drag it left and right because that's effectively moving its position in the time, which we can't control because that's controlled by the actual task down here. But I can move it up to that timeline so I can see plaster walls within there, or I can drag it back and drop it in here. And it can either go on the upper or the lower line here because we have two lines of tasks, because two tasks happen concurrently. So we have a great deal of customization ability within your timeline, changing the color, position, the typeface, background color, the font, bold, italic, underline, all can be changed either on individual items by single clicking them, or multiple items by control clicking and using any of these options, or by mass changing using the text styles option, where you can change everything in the timeline or individual blocks of items. So all the task names, or all the task dates, or all the milestone names, or all the milestone dates within all of your timelines. So in my particular case, I've got 2, but it may be you've got 3, 4, 5, or 6 timelines, because you can have multiple timelines in Microsoft Project 2016.